Let's just see if it's live. I need to get YouTube up. I haven't got it up yet. Oh, here we are. Yes, it's live again. That's it. Hi, everyone. And sorry for that. Hopefully you can hear us okay. I've got a feeling the same thing's going to happen. There you go. There you go. I shouldn't have said that, should I? But thank you. Yeah, thank you, Spunkfish. What name? For joining us again. Right. So go on, Dave. You know, you do a lot in Wales. And, you know, when we first started this stream, our whole intention was to answer people's questions who are worried about what's going on, you know, how do you stand your ground, what they're creating, you know, the mental health of what it's doing to people and to the children, you know, and everything that's going on. But obviously, twice this is our third attempt now at trying to do this, and hasn't gone to plan yet again. But we did try something about a month and a half ago. We tried to do a live, and I couldn't even get onto your live, could I? And vice versa. So here we are again, battling all the odds, and coming back again and trying it. But I can still hear the noise yet again.
It's the crackling's coming over you. It's overpowering your. Wow. There's no trickery going on here, guys. This is actually for real. This is what's happening. And I'll just tell you now, guys, I just had a conversation with Tracy. There was no crackling on this live stream before Tracy pressed the button to go live. Probably for 40, 50 seconds, we were talking, and she said, "Is that clear?" Yeah, it's clear as a bell. No crackling, nothing. And gradually, as you've been speaking there, your words have been almost bleeped out by a crackle. Is crackle the new bleep out? Over the last 24 hours, I've had several people say to me that they've lost hundreds and hundreds of followers on Twitter and other platforms. Facebook have had a bit of a clear out. I'm quite shocked that I'm still on Facebook, but there we are. You know, it wouldn't really bother me that much anyway, because I don't do that much on Facebook anymore. But it just shows you what is actually going on. I think we was talking about what you call infiltrators and what I would associate to 77 Brigade. You've got to understand that the divide and conquer portrayed with the television, radio stations, and other platform papers, or whatever you want to call them, media as the mainstream media are a massive machine, huge. Don't be fooled by it, guys. But it is all in plain sight. They will tell you what they're doing. You won't believe it. And it will come as it'll come in stealth mode, and it will be indoctrinated into you without you actually realizing it. You know, and if you know, the general public is in the middle of a war against the mainstream media propaganda machine. You know, and don't think they're coming head on. They're coming from behind. And like I said earlier, you know, I think between us, Tracy, we've just about predicted nearly every move that's actually happened. Going back over the last 18 months, I would say, the moves that we've predicted are quite eerie, really. You know, I'm a bit biased with you anyway, because you're about the only one that you know, isn't telling the police what they're doing and where they're going and what they're organising. And when I do come and meet up with you, we do what we want to do. If they think we're going over there, we know how we're going over here. And there's nothing like giving them a bit of run around, keeping them on their toes. And, and these protests that have been set up and portrayed in the public, 90% of them are just shows. We're just watching the theatre. We're just watching this play beat. And I think we'll agree, Tracy, I think will agree that some of these puppet masters are pulling the strings of people playing parts that they don't even realise they're actually in the show. They think they're, they think they're doing what they're doing, but they don't realise they're being controlled and manipulated into doing what they're doing. There's no doubt in my mind that Hope Not Hate and the Labour Party, there's some cogs there driving this new world order machine against the public in a big way.
The thing is, they all work together, Dave. You know, the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, behind the closed doors, when they come out of Parliament and they're behind closed doors, they all work together, yeah? All of them. You know, like I said, we've been fooled for many, many years on all different levels. And you're correct in what you're saying. The war, the psychological war, is against us. We have a de facto government. I don't even know if you can hear me.
You are being crackled over quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone. Amazing.
I
You,
don't
Susie. Thank you.
and not listen to me babbling on. But we've got a few technical difficulties here, I think. I think both me and Tracy wanted to do this live so that we could interact and answer questions between us, to give some comfort to the people that are struggling to understand what's going on. And don't think you're on your own, guys, if you're struggling to understand what's going on. It's no good worrying about it. Never worry about anything, because it's no good worrying about what's happened, because there's nothing you can do about it. And it's no good worrying about what's going to happen, because it hasn't happened yet and things may change. And I think everybody will agree things do change. Tracy used to be able to do lives and be heard, but and that's what we want to do. I think the whole thing about this is to give people some comfort and hopefully a settle in people's minds. I, I can hand on heart say that myself and Tracy aren't conspiracy theorists. We aren't tinfoil hat wearers. We are ordinary working class people. Well, I am anyway. I did class myself as an ordinary working class guy that just likes to ask a few questions when I want to understand something. So don't think you can't ask a question, and don't worry about this monster virus coming and attacking you. It's not going to happen, guys. This is not. I don't know how else to try and comfort anybody that is worried about it or has concerns about it. That's all I can say on it, really. And hopefully, if people look at the figures and look at, I was thinking we might have some questions about vaccines. What I'm going to say about vaccines is read what the ingredients are before you take it. That's all I'm going to say. Myself, formaldehyde has a very part to play in my body, and I'd ask you to pay some attention to the chemical agent in there, the preservatives that stop your immune system attacking the the vaccine, because that fools your immune system not to fight the actual vaccine, which of course we all know is the actual virus in a small amount, along with alcohol and the ingredients. Like I said, look at the ingredients. It's all about doing a little bit of research and checking out some facts, guys. But don't worry about it. And like I said, mandatory vaccines does not exist. It's against the Nuremberg Code, and it's only by consent. So if they say to you, you cannot fly to Spain or leave the country unless you have this vaccine, that is not true. That is not true, and they will never be able to implement that because it is against the Nuremberg Code. Nobody can inject you with any vaccine without your consent. So don't get fooled into putting that signature on there, on that piece of paper, if you don't want it. And don't be brought off by you won't be able to go to your local supermarket and spend your chip, because that's nonsense.
Yeah,
I think we all need to
absolutely.
stay calm, carry on, and that's where I'm at with it. Is there many questions
Yeah,
in the
yeah. There's a question here from Steve, and it's a
letters?
good question. It's a good question. I'll answer my opinion, and you may have a different opinion on it, Dave. But Steve's question is, do you think the Nightingale was set up for something more sinister? I'll answer that. No, I don't. I think they set it up purely to scaremonger, to add to this fear. You think about it. If they want to mass manipulate the whole of the masses, well, the whole of the world really, into believing that there's this deadly virus floating about in the air, and that people can get it, and hospitals are overrun, they would have to build these fake second hospitals. And as we know, they've done a propaganda piece from the Nightingale Hospital on news, yeah, which was just a staged event. So for me personally, I think it was to add to the fear of the population, because when people fear and they can't think critically, they're easier to control. And that's what it's all about. So that's my interpretation on what I believe Nightingale was. What about you, Dave? Shall I read you the question again?
Yeah, certainly on the same lines. I'd like to add a very simple word: circle. Do your research, people. Circle and look up every MP and look at their interests. Because let me tell you, I want to state now, I want to know why Hancock isn't in prison on remand for fraud. Because he gave away a public contract with no tendering, to a known associate of his, which had no connection to the contract. It's not like he was a tyre supplier and he was supplying tyres. So I want to know why Hancock isn't in prison. The £1 million contracts for the Nightingale centres was pretty much a big theatre stage setup, but it also doubled as a nice little earner for some MPs and Welsh Assembly. I got some facts on my own. Ambulances were sent down to London to that thing for the photo shoot when that Nightingale hospital opened, and half the ambulances didn't even run, and I got proof of it. I got proof of it. I know who actually delivered them. So the Nightingale hospitals, yeah, that's the biggest hoax that I think this country's ever seen, using public money under the public's noses to instill fear into the public to gain control. Because when you're in a state of fear and your mind is under pressure, you can be controlled very easily, and that's the end goal is total control. You know, don't forget,
Yeah,
guys, we are going into you know,
it's all out of
I
chaos.
started off this
Exactly
video
what you
or
said.
wanted to take the fear out of people. I think I'm actually putting it into them now.
No, you're not, because it is order out of chaos,
It's
Dave.
just
Right?
another situation where the government is applying another fork, a prong to the fork of control over the people of the UK. I mean, the divide. Hate nothing more than, you know, I've got nothing against Mrs. Cranky up in Scotland, but for God's sake, you know, why can't the you know, we're United Kingdom, for God's sake, why can't we all join together? It doesn't. Everybody understands. You've got to understand this, guy. Divide and conquer is well known. Divide and conquer. Look outside. Sorry.
I think it throws you out. Sorry, one sec, Dave. Aunt Sally, and there's just a couple of things here I want to read. Correct on what you were saying about the ambulances. Ambulances are going out, putting their lights on,
Sorry, I
driving
didn't get that, Trace.
around. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you
Yeah,
hear me, Dave?
you are being crackled on.
Right, you can hear me. Yeah, follow one, Shirley. Follow one. You know, like I said to people, they have to do their own due diligence, um, and look for themselves, because then they will see the truth for themselves, and no one has interest in Spacey, and then no one can divert you from that truth. But just going on what Aunt Sally said, Aunt Sally said, Tracy and Dave, please tell everyone what you make of these videos that keep circulating of people being arrested and manhandled. I think it's fear porn to frighten people. Sally, I totally agree with you. That's exactly what it is. Let's look at the woman a week ago. She was apparently arrested for going to film the hospital, and apparently arrested at her home, the empty hospital. Now, people have been filming empty hospitals, and in this country, in America, all over the world, since March, and no one's been arrested. Then, out of the blue, this one woman is arrested in her home for filming an empty hospital. Then, all of a sudden, this week, she's been in London on demonstrations. Yeah, fear porn. That's all it is. These little mini videos that you see, you've got no start to them, you've got no end to them, you've just got this middle of a staged event. Yeah. And this is how they do it. And this is why I've said before, we're not only fooled by the media and the government and the police, we're fooled by people at street level, because they have to control the narrative. Yeah. So if they want to fear you from doing something, they will create a video, exactly like Aunt Sally is saying here. Yeah. The arrest in London. Listen, Steve will tell you, he's in the chat. A lot of the time, hi, YouTube is biased. A lot of the time, it's the same people being arrested. A lot of the time. Yeah, I know someone who's been arrested. I'm not going to say their name many a times, and they're not in prison. Yeah. So you can clearly see who they are, and this is how they do it. But as I said, if you protest against something, to them, you're consenting to whatever it is you're protesting against. I said this earlier. And then if you acquiescence and stay silent, that is also seen as consent. So you have to do the opposite to what they say.
My
Like I said, if they say
it's
stay in,
absolutely
you
spot
go
on.
out. Go on. Can you hear me, Dave? Yes, Susie, they do want to split the UK apart because by dividing everything, a nation can't stand. By dividing all of us. Yeah. And all we have to do is stand up and say no. That's it. No, we're not going to comply.
It's all about consent, Trace. That's what we need to get across in this video, that it is about consent, and it's about every person, withholding that consent until they are that they have. Uh, um, I don't know whether you notice, I haven't said I will never take the vaccine. I've never said that. What I have said is I need to make an informed decision before I put anything into my body. I need to make an informed decision about what I'm going to do when I drive down the road in the morning. Um, uh, I need to make informed decision on facts. When those facts are in front of me, I will make that decision. But going on the facts that I have got, um, I can't make an informed decision, and that's what the problem, reaction, solution is the way that the government and the I don't want to go off into depths of it's not the government, but let's say the government are trying to instill fear into you by using, um, you know, problem, reaction, solution. So they'll tell you that this is, there's going to be blue spots in the grass verges, and it's quite deadly, these blue spots. So they'll come up with, we can eradicate them by spraying this weed killer to get rid of these blue spots. Um, and we're the heroes. We come in, problem, reaction, solution. Um, but, but first of all, they've got to put the public in fear of losing something or putting to harm. And the way they do that is by the propaganda machine, which is the mainstream media, and I would say all political parties. I think they're all part. Uh, they have parts to play in the pantomime. Um, I think I've said to you numerous occasions, Tracy, that have you seen the pantomime? Is my normal message to you. Did you watch the pantomime today? Um, and when people get that in there, I want people to have more confidence about asking questions. It's not wrong to ask a question on a public forum, or to your MP, or to your assembly member, or to your local councillor. Ring up your local councillor. That's what they're paid for. And when they send you demand for your council tax, ask them to evidence it. Evidence your council tax, because they cannot evidence council tax. Do not sign any contract. You do not want a contract with them, because they cannot evidence their contract. And as soon as you get into the understanding that everything is by consent, um, then you clear your mind a little and be able to think a bit straighter. You cannot think straight when you're in fear. So get rid of the fear, and you will then become uh, clear in your mind and be able to think about what you're making an informed decision on. So we cannot make informed decisions, firstly, when we don't know the actual facts of what we're making the decision on, and secondly, when we're in a state of fear. So the state of fear that is being implemented at the moment is all part of the pantomime. And at the end of the show, which will be a very long time, it will be too late. Um, I'll I won't mess around. I'll already state that I think it's too late for any single person or organisation to do anything about the machine that's already up and running and in action. I think it's gone on for too long. I think we're probably, if there's 10 stages of this world take over, um, I think there's 10 stages. We're probably at stage 8, and very close to going into stage 9. And, when you think about it, people say about Putin in Russia, it's a dictator and what have you. But at least you know where you are with him. It's very easy to understand. Don't fuck with him because he will kill you. It's as simple as that. If you mess with him, he'll kill you. At least you know where you are with Putin. You don't know where you are when you're in the UK, because it's what you cannot. I can deal with any problems that come to my door as long as I know about them. It's when you've got a problem that you don't know about. And like I said, guys, you can't think firstly when you're in fear, and secondly when you haven't got all the facts. And I think it's pretty well known now that Google, all the platforms are basically controlled or semi-controlled. Even down to WhatsApp now, you've got to sign a new agreement with WhatsApp. That's why I'll be leaving a lot of these channels, because it's all part of the plot of what is actually going on. But I'd like to revert back to mental health if we can, Trace, that if there's any experts out there, I found myself phoning the likes of Norman McGuigan and a couple of others for advice, because it's not my skill set. But I find it quite worrying if I can recognise as a layman there is deterioration in mental health right throughout the ages, then anybody that does know about mental health should alarm bells should be ringing, because as a layman, if I can recognise it, then it should be in the forefront. And it does concern me that the way the mainstream media are facilitating the harassment of people with mental health issues, by not condemning people who have a go at people for not wearing a mask, or even for the police. I've seen several arrests online. I think they've been quite clear, where the person has stated they are exempt, and the officers continued on the barrage of you must comply. Difficult situations where different businesses have been shut down. So it's all very worrying, and I'm trying not to make people worry by saying that there is a way out of this. It's not complying. However, I think it takes a big proportion of the people to not comply before we can actually move forward. because people who are not complying are being, ridiculed as conspiracy theorists or tin hat wearers, or you know, um, we're doing it to save lives. Right? Okay. Um, that's just the way I feel about it. Is there any other questions, Edward?
Yeah, no, just reiterating everything you said. So, I couldn't hear some of it. I think it's going to happen to you now. You're not going to be able to hear everything that I'm saying. With regards to the police, and the government, know that they have no authority over you. It's only presumed authority. You know, just like if you give them, you have rights. People get you to come out and protest, save your rights, save our rights. No, by going out and protesting, you're handing over a right. Yeah, you're handing over a right. Yeah, it's knowing how to stand. It's knowing your rights, knowing they cannot be taken from you. You can hand them over with consent, but they can't be taken to you. And all these controlled opposition demonstrations that are going on, you can work out what is a controlled demonstration, not just by the fact that they're actually working with the police or walking on the pavement, um, or anything like that. It's the fact that there's no solutions. Every week you're going out, and what are the solutions? Absolutely none. And yes, Sally, we said earlier about the mental health of the children and how this is affecting them. Because anyone who thinks this isn't affecting a child, needs to relook at the situation again. And going on the masses at the moment, I've gone out there and I've seen people, I've looked at people who are wearing masks and seen some of them have got matching masks to their clothes like it's a fashion accessory. Some of them look like they're happy to wear it. You know, it is bonkers at the end of the day, and it's the non-mask wearers that are made to look like the conspiracy theorists. And just as we know, the word conspiracy theorist was made up to divert people from the truth. And I'd rather call it a conspiracy theorist and someone who checks out known liars' lies. Because that's what we face every day on the TV and in the media. I know that firsthand because with regards to our boys' case, the media, fed the whole country a lie, the whole country, for at least 3 months. And then when I did go out as a yellow vest, the BBC did a hit piece on me, and the other yellow vest lying about me. I then had the Sun newspaper lie about me, and I confronted the Sun newspaper. They just locked their doors on us, and so on and so on. And, as the quote goes, the media can make an innocent person look guilty and a guilty person look innocent. Again, as what they did in our case when they watered down the charge and they lied to you all. In our boys' case, just to quickly mention, I have never come across so many lies in my life to what I come across in my dear son's case. Um, and it's horrific. And my whole point of being out here, when I came out, I know I've diverted a bit here, but when I came out onto the streets and was doing demonstrations, I thought, and I've said this before, that we was the third biggest cover up. I didn't realise all these other demonstrations, all these other people in pain and everything else. I thought I would just be fighting against the police, the CPS, and the criminal court, because the judge to me didn't look at any evidence. She just went on what the defence and the prosecutor was telling her. So I thought I was going to be just fighting against that until I met many families that were fighting. Yeah, and obviously I was awake then to the propaganda and what the media were. I mean, we always knew there was fake news and not to trust a lot of things that were put in, but it's worse than that. It's 99.9% fake news. that people are being fed daily in this country. I haven't watched television since this happened to my son. All I've done is read books, research, and research the law and research what type of system we're in and why I would be told by a copper that this was not a crime against my son, that it was a crime against the state. So I stayed on that path. But what I got during it, when I started realizing how deep and dark this went, and researching more on our boy's case and realizing that it's been going on for a long time in this country, that our boys are not an isolated case. How can I not share that with the people of this country? I get people sometimes say to me, Tracy, why don't you just fight for justice and nothing else? That would be wrong. That would be wrong. I was brought up to be a defender. I was brought up, and I feel I have a mass responsibility to protect the people and the country. I care about people. Like I said to you before, my job was I'm a level 3 trainer in safeguarding of people. That's not how we was treated. Yeah, I've trained people to safeguard people. That's what we're meant to do. That is the police's role as constables, but we all know we live in a duality, and the constable can't recognise themselves that they are playing two roles, and they need to see that this is wrong. And the frontline police need to see that when they follow an order, which is not an excuse of their superior officer, that it is them that are going to be held liable for following that order that was morally wrong. Anyway, so again, I've sort of gone off a bit, and talking about something else there. I do apologise. I wanted to come on and tonight and help anybody that was concerned and worried about what was going on in this country now. And I'll just leave you with this. Don't believe anything you see on Facebook, these many videos of people being arrested for, going to film a hospital. These are fear porn tactics. Know who you are, that you're a man and a woman. You have inalienable rights that no one can take from you unless you consent to doing that or hand over a right. Let's stand our ground. Don't fear them. And as the terminology goes, although I know really he was a warmonger, never surrender. Are you still there, Dave?
You want to carry on speaking about your case because you wasn't cracking. There was no crackling when you started speaking.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, I noticed that. Oh, here we go.
I've found this quite. I've turned my camera off. I've turned my mic off. I've tried to do everything I can to eliminate it, and I can't. But the only difference then was we wasn't both talking. You were talking about the boy's case, and you went as clear as a bell, and that's for all the public to see. There's no trickery there. That was just quite astonishing. I don't know whether you want to do one later on in the week or something, Trace, just so we can have a catch up. If anybody's been on this live, I'd really like some people to come on that have got some fears. I'm speaking for myself here, but if anybody wants to come on and tell us their story, if we can alleviate any stress for the general public. The big thing, guys, is don't fear, and everything is
I don't know if it's throwing you off, Dave. All links together for me. The realization to realizing the whole system is against us. Absolutely, we have a de facto government, and we have no true representation whatsoever. The justice system is inverted, just for money purposes, and not justice. And justice is subject to status.
if we can get anything across in this video, don't fear.
I can't hear Dave now. I don't know if you lot can't either. I just want to say thank you for joining us. And if we do attempt to try another one during the week, if any one of you would love to come on and have a chat and just have your say, then just write in the chat and take it from there. Gaz Anon, I'm sorry, I disagree with you. I don't believe anyone's coming to save us. I believe the only one is, for me, I respect that that's your opinion, but for me, no one's going to save us other than ourselves, and knowing how to save ourselves. Everything else is diversion and distraction, and that's what they want you to do. Trust the plan, sit there and do nothing about it, and don't learn in the meantime. Just watch that. As I say, Gaz, I respect that that's your opinion, but it isn't mine. No one's going to save us other than ourselves. Shirley, the lawyers belong to the Law Society, and the Law Society lies to us. That's where the lawyers are. Believe me, again, I'll refer to our boy's case. I've come across solicitors, and believe me, they don't work for us, especially in a case like mine. Yeah, they all belong to a club. Yeah, Bar Society. And in fact, like I've said before, the Crown is the Crown Temple. There's a lot. I would love to get Jesus on, actually. I really, really would, because I think it would be good for all of us. But I don't know whether he would speak on a video. But there is a lot to this and a lot to say. If I can get my words out there to you, and the crackling's gone, which is great. So maybe me and Dave have to do our own videos separately, because it seems like when we're together that this happens. Absolutely, we are positive. Don't allow the negative in, because that's what they're doing to the whole of the world at the moment, keeping everyone negative. And negative and positive is physics. It's a real thing. And so is synchronicity. And that's why they can't mess with natural law. So everyone, I will see you again soon. Take care. And hopefully I'll be a bit more prepared to talk to you. Take care, everyone. Thank you for joining, as always. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your questions. And just remember, you're not alone. And consent is law, no matter what they say to you, or how they try and deceive you, or how they try and trick you. Thank you, everyone.